This is Krista Hicks from Simply Breathe Now. Welcome to the October insert video. I'm having a little bit of problem with my audio, so this is my first voiceover, so I hope that this works. So I just wanted to let you know that this cover is the cover that I thought I would do for this insert. It's the same as all the other ones that I have in the Etsy shop. It's just a different color, and it's the same. So it has the over flap, and it has 4 elastics on the inside that holds the 4 different journals. So I have my perpetual calendar in the front, which you can buy in my Etsy shop, which is just a blank calendar that you can pick up at any point. Then I have my next one is September's insert, and then I have October's insert, and behind that I have November's insert. So we'll get right into October. Before we get going, I want to say I'm really apologize for the dots that are on the cover. I usually try to get rid of the dots, and this time, even though it has a lot of editing times, I somehow missed it. So I apologize for that. But you do get the tree with the I am, and I hope you enjoy going through that and the coloring that goes with that. Okay, so then we have, after that, we have the October title page, and this is so that you can decorate as you like. It's plain, so you can add your colors, your washies, you can leave it plain if you want, quotes, however you want to decorate it. Then we have Level 10 Life, and so Level 10 Life comes from The Miracle Morning by Elrod. This will be about the 3rd time that you will have gone through the Level 10 Life if you've been following since the beginning of the year. This is a circle one. So basically you correspond the numbers at the top with the numbers that are along the side, and so 2, 3, 4 would be physical development, and you go on so forth. And then, so what then you do is you take a chunk in time right now, and you figure out where you are within your Level 10 life. So if Level 10 being the best that you could ever have and 0 being the worst, and you figure out where you are in that category at this time. So say we look at personal development, your best personal development life would be 10, and so you pick out what it is right now that you want your life to be and how you feel like you are doing on your personal development right now. Then you go through and you add a few goals underneath that you would want to increase the higher into your Level 10 life. This voiceover is quite a bit hard, and I hope you're getting it. So then what you want to do is that you want to take and go back to any of the other Level 10s that you have done and kind of compare it. There's no right or wrong. Going up is not necessarily the right way. You can sometimes go down. Here's an example of one that I did that's color, and it's the circle. And I just want to say, like, if you end up having that it goes down and not forward, you would end up being, it's not a bad thing. Like, for example, with my business and career, I was a happy stay-at-home mom, and then I went and I was okay with not okay with being a stay-at-home mom, and I wanted a career. So then I worked on something so that I can improve, and now I'm gone back up on the Level 10, and then I'm higher up on the Level 10, and then I may at some point become discontent with the way this career is going, and I would go down possibly, and then again make some changes and then go back up. So it's not that you obviously are always striving for Level 10, but things change in your life, and not all of these categories will be at Level 10 all the time. I feel like as we grow and develop, things go up and down, and you make changes so that you're getting closer and closer to having a Level 10 for most of them. So that is the basis of the Level 10. You can get this spread in my Etsy shop for both circle and square. And you can use a Zentangle, or you can use a color. It's up to you. And go from there. I guess I had a lot more to say when I took it the first time. This voiceover is going to be pretty fun. So here's the Zentangle example and in the square, and then there's also the color example. And you might be able to hear in the background that my lawnmower is going, so the grass is being cut. So I'm sorry for that distraction this time as well. So after our level 10 life, we have the memories page where you can add your memories through either quotes or through pictures, little drawings, and then you have your currently for the month. You can decorate it as you like. And then we have our goals or projects page. And the way that this works is that you put your goal or your project on the left-hand side. And then you go and you break it down for how you're going to accomplish that goal each week. I like to say that I actually only plan out 1 week at a time. So on this Sunday before, I'll kind of figure out what I will have the opportunity to do to break my goal or project down into just what I can do that week from what I've done the previous week. So if I'm in week 1 and I'm at the end of week 1 going into week 2, I'll see what I did accomplish, and then I'll make small steps to what I can do on week 2. So that means that goal might go into the following week, or it might end up finishing in week 2, 3. There's also space for quotes and washi or coloring. Then you have your October spread, which has a place for notes, and then a little cute space for something fall. It's nice how that calendar just worked out. It's kind of fun, a little sticker maybe. Then we have our habit tracker, and the way habit trackers work is that you put your days of the week at the top on both lines, and then you write your habits down the side. And habits can be anything. It can work in 2 ways. You might be wanting to know how to do things more of things that you want to do. And I think I'm bringing out an example of a habit tracker and the different types of things that you can track. If I can find one. Should be one right about there. All right. So just different things that I have tracked over different times. So my miracle morning, if I get up at 5:30, if I stretch, if I laugh, if I dance when I was trying to see if I could bring more joy into my day-to-day life, which was important at the time. Relations, no fighting in my house, connect with my husband, doing some French with the kids every day, a goal check, post to Instagram, and allowance. Because I always seem to forget allowance, so I actually was wanting to put it in there so I would remember. So some of the things that you do want to track are things like, am I doing it every day? I want to do it every day, so I'm going to put it on here to track and make sure I'm doing every day. Or things like no fighting. Were we fighting as often as I thought we were fighting? We were going through a really tough time, and I felt like my house was full of fighting all the time, and I wanted to know how accurate that really was. And as you can see, we were fighting quite a lot. The kids were having a lot of difficulty, but it wasn't every single day. And as the weeks went by, you can see that I had weeks that were really, really high in fighting and other days that weren't. But it also let me go back and see if we had maybe every Wednesday we fought all the time and so then what was happening on Wednesday that was causing that. Just different things like that. So you can do it both ways, the ways that you want to track to improve so you do it more often, and other ways just to look back and reflect and see how often you actually do it. I also track my core desires. So this is from Danielle Lapointe, and she has a book called The Desire Map, and from doing that I realized that these are kind of my core desires, and so I wanted to track if every day I was doing things that were corresponding with my core desires. So those are compassion, calm, being content, being courageous, connecting with someone so they truly heard me, being flexible and going with the flow more, having a balanced life, and being playful. So as you can see, for the most part, playful is really hard for me, and balance is really hard. But for the most part, I am doing the other things, and I find that when I am doing these things, I feel like I've had a great day, and they are truly my core desires. So that's how the habit tracker works. And then at the bottom, you will also see that I have a sleep tracker. And that's the sleep tracker. The way I do that is I do a dot for how many hours I'm roughly in bed. And then if it's a solid line, it is the night that I probably didn't get, like I had a good night's sleep, I didn't get up or I wasn't interrupted by the kids. And the dotted line is when I was up a lot with the kids or I laid awake. I was woken up maybe once and then laid awake. So yeah, that's how I use a sleep tracker. And then you can see that this month I was quite busy and I didn't actually end up doing anything, a quote or any washi, but lots of times I do a quote down there or some doodling. And then after that, you have gratitude. And research shows that when you are actually writing down things that you're grateful for, your life begins to improve only just because you are seeing more things around you that are grateful. So you can either use that by using the 2 lines or just as writing as much as you possibly can in the 2 lines. And then at the bottom, there is some space for more doodles and coloring and different things. And then we have our mood tracker. And in October's journal, we have the moon, the crescent moon. And I had so much fun doing this as a mood tracker. I did it as a Zentangle. And I actually forgot to bring an example so that you could see what it was like with the Zentangle. But I will try to post a picture. I do have it on Instagram if you are following me, or I'll try and post it below if I can figure out how to do that. So you can do it either by coloring or Zentangling. What you do is you take, assign a mood or a pattern, or a color or a pattern, sorry, to a mood, and then on the day you pick what mood you are, and then you find the number in the crescent moon, and then you would draw that pattern, or you would color that color in for that day. So that's how you do the crescent moon, and it turns out beautiful. I hope you really enjoy this moon tracker because I really, really enjoyed it. I almost feel like I could do it more than once because it turns out so pretty. And then the next page we have is our financial report. This is based off Rich Dad Poor Dad, which is Robert Kiyosaki. If you're interested in reading his book, I'll post it below. This is a very kind of condensed version of a financial report, and it's very small. There's not a lot of space, but it's getting the idea of cash flow and net worth. Robert Kiyosaki goes into more of a net worth of your banker versus your true net worth. And if you're interested, I would highly recommend his books. We've done a lot of his books, my husband and I. Then you have a blank page to add anything that you would like to add, or any spreads or any thoughts that are going through in your head that don't fit into what's... Okay, so now we're on to the weekly and daily hybrid. And this spread is in the spread from the last 6 months of the year. And so it has the space at the top so you can add your days of the week and your weather if you track the weather or moon cycles. And then I use this space at the top for what week it is and the date. And then I use that space for my focus. And then I have my menu and my errands. For some reason, I really like to have my errands. I have a whole list of errands that I need to do on my brain dump, but then I like to have what errands I need to do right there at the bottom so that I kind of have, oh, I'm going out, I can do this errand and slot it in as I need be. So the way the bullet journaling system works, and so this is the basic system by Ryder Carroll. So I've made this little card, and this is the very same key that Ryder Carroll has. I haven't changed it. I've made it on this little card, and then I've taken some washi tape and I've just stuck it on the side, and you can flip it in and flip it out. It's on both sides so you can use it. And this is exactly like I was saying, that Ryder Carroll's basic key, because it works for me. Make your key whatever works for you. So basically the way his system works is that you write your tasks down for the time period that you're in. So this example would be for the day of Monday. So you write your tasks with a dot. If it's an event which is corresponding to a time, you would put it with like an open circle. Then you would come back at the end of your time period and you would go and you check on everything that you've done. So if it's completed, you put an X. If it's migrated, which means that you weren't able to do it, but it's still important and you feel like you can do it within the next bit of time period, you would migrate it forward. So you could either migrate it to the next day or migrate it to somewhere else in that week because it's still within that spread. But the task on Monday would have some sort of, it would designated something, so it would be migrated. Then if it's a reschedule, it means that you still want to do it, but was not able to do it in that time period. So you'd probably put reschedule such and such an appointment on your to-do list. So that means everything on Monday has been assigned something, so that everything looks closed by the end of Monday. If it's no longer relevant, you would put a line through it. If you need to have a note, you just put a dash, and you might want something to remember or a quote or something you could add there. So at the end of every single day, use your key to make sure that the day is almost closed in a way, that you've gone through and you've looked at everything and you've moved everything forward. So Ryder Carroll does say that you do end up writing things down more than once. However, that's on purpose, because you will only write things that are important and move them forward. You reflect on them to make sure that they are important. If they're no longer important, or if you're like, why am I writing this down? Then maybe it is important. It isn't how you want to spend your time. And that's why I feel that bullet journaling is so effective, is because you are not losing information, you're not leaving it behind, you're moving it forward, but you're also reflecting on how you want to spend your time and how you want to do your days. And eventually, because you're doing so much reflection, your days become more and more in sync with what you would like. And so then after that, you have your to-do list, which is your weekly to-do list. So again, you use the same key. You have a waiting on list and on the horizon list as well. Your waiting on is anything that you're waiting, a phone call back or someone to get back to you, or a delivery that you're waiting on. On the horizon is more stuff that you're waiting for in the future. So things that you kind of want to keep an eye on. Good examples are like birthdays coming up, or Christmas is coming up, or some sort of holiday, and you kind of want to have it in your mind, but you don't necessarily you're not going to break it down into tasks yet, but it's things that you don't want to forget. So at the end of your week, you're going to make sure you use your key and assign something to each of your tasks that you've written down, and you'll move it forward into your next weekly to-do list. On this, you also have your weekly review, and with that is you have what is working, what isn't working, and what needs to change. And I also think this helps. I've had questions about, does this have to do with the bullet journal, or does this have to do with the life? And I think it does both. You can either use it how you want. Again, it's your bullet journal, so you make it what's right for you. I kind of use it both. When I write what is working, I will be like, well, what is working within my life and how I am tracking it through my bullet journal. Same with the what isn't working and what needs to change. How can I get more efficient, or how can I get more out of the life that I want to have, and what do I need to change to do that? So I use it for both in kind of the same setting. So you have 5 weeks of that for both the hybrid and the reflection and the to-do list. And then you have 3 blank pages for you to be able to use them as you need or like. Anything that is really important to you that month, or is there a spread that you love that's being left out? Which, if that's the case, let me know and I might be able to add it. Then we have our monthly review at the end of every insert, and this is your time to celebrate you. This is the time to kind of go through your month and be like, look, these are the accomplishments I've had, my big events that I've had, things that I'm proud of, things that I want to remember from this month that really stand out, and how am I different? What's changed this month that I'm different this month than I was last month? It's also a place for you to kind of keep track of your projects and your goals and how you're moving through them. And then it's also a time for reflection. What was challenging this month? What personal struggles did I have? And hopefully being able to have some reflection on it, and possibly be able to make some changes so that they don't happen again. Then you have one more page, which is a blank page. You could use, as a pen test, or what you want in your next journal, or just something fun. So you can use it for whatever you like. And then that's it. That's the end of October's insert. So I hope that this was helpful, and if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and I will join in down there when I possibly can. I hope you're having a great day, and thank you for joining me.